Hello, everyone, and welcome to Director Watch, an AwardsWatch podcast that attempts to get inside the mind of cinema's greatest auteurs, explore what drives them, and maybe we go on a few unrelated tangents along the way. I'm Ryan McQuade, the executive editor here at AwardsWatch, and joining me today is my co-host, Jay Ledbetter, as always.
Snuggle up to your significant other. It's time to talk about Morvern Callar, Lynne Ramsay's second feature film, and she manages to up the ante on the darkness. Who knew that it was possible? Lynne Ramsay, we need to study her brain in the name of science.
Yeah, we had the beautiful yet still bleak debut last week, Ratcatcher. Morvern Callar this week. Second feature follow-up 3 years after, right? Yep. Jay?
Relatively quick by her standards.
We were comparing her kind of like to Spike Jonze a little bit in terms of the delivery of films. Quick response. And then there'll be a little bit of like a 9-year gap in between this and We Need to Talk About Kevin. Lots to talk about on this episode. First time watch for both of us, which should be great.
Is this the most obscure film we've talked about?
I was going to ask that. I was going to ask that to you. I also wanted to ask you a question to start off, and it's not about the film, but it's about this series. Maybe it's about this series in the past, but I wanted to save it for this episode, which is I've been traveling a lot recently. Okay.
Globetrotter.
I've been globetrotting, festival season, seeing all the movies, hanging with all the people. And, when you travel a lot, Jay, as you know, it's 3 hours on a plane, 4 hours on a plane. You got to watch movies, right? And so I'm always...
Did you watch this on a plane?
No. I didn't watch it on a plane. But that's the question. Is we're going to cover...
this on a plane, you should be put in an institution.
I was going to ask, can you watch a Lynne Ramsay movie on a plane?
No.
What constitutes a plane movie for you? What's the definition? We've never really, you and I've talked about this a little bit before, but we've never actually put a definition down to what a plane movie is.
I think a plane movie.
Are there levels?
Well,
Are there levels to it?
There's different kinds of plane movies, right?
Okay.
There are the two types of movies qualify for plane movies for me. One, a film that I love and is a pretty breezy watch, or two, a film that I have not seen and I don't expect much from. Those are my two types of plane movies.
Can you give me an example of the latter?
I can actually, because I had one entirely in mind and I can't even remember the name of it. What was the movie where it's a kid who discovers that he has like medieval powers. Rebecca Ferguson, I believe, is the bad guy in it.
Oh, is it Dr. Sleep?
No, not Dr. Sleep.
Rebecca Ferguson?
It was about the kid who would be king.
Is she really in that?
The Joe Cornish film. Yeah, she's the villain in The Kid Who Would Be King.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so that was a movie.
Did you watch that because she's in it?
I watch everything she's in. Right?
Okay, well,
that's very important to me.
We established that on the Dune episode. I get that.
We did.
What? Okay.
But also, I was kind of excited to see a Joe Cornish movie.
Have you not seen a Joe Cornish movie?
I have, to see a new Joe Cornish movie.
Oh, to see a new... Are you a big Cornish guy?
Not huge, but he's a person that has made interesting movies before.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know if you had like a big.
No, I'm not. We're not going to be covering Joe Cornish on the podcast.
I don't know. I don't know what the new schedule looks like next year. You could have snuck a Cornish or two in there. Maybe 3.
Yeah, we're not going to do that. But yeah, that's the only other movie he's directed.
So of the films that we've done so far, the, I guess, 14, 15 episodes that we've done so far, are what I've seen the rundown on various different flights. I've taken American, I've taken Southwest and United flights, so I know the selections. Okay, some of our films that we've covered are on planes right now. Right now, what of those movies would you consider, or would you think are plane movies?
I would think a few Villeneuve's.
Yes,
Dune, I imagine, is on there.
that's correct.
Oh boy,
A couple of them did surprise me.
Can you watch Carol on a plane?
You can.
Yeah,
You can watch Carol on a plane.
I'm sure most of them are more recent. I bet you can watch Wonderstruck on a plane.
It wasn't on my selections.
What about Blade Runner?
You can watch Blade Runner 2049, but you can't watch the original Blade Runner.
What about Sicario?
No.
That'd be a weird movie to watch on a plane.
Yeah, a little weird. There's two more that you haven't named. This is riveting podcasting.
Yeah, this is great podcasting.
This is great. Podcasting.
Man, what other Arrival?
Arrival's not one of them, but it is a Villeneuve and it is a Haynes.
There's one Villeneuve and one Haynes.
That is correct.
What Haynes movie could it be?
You want me to tell
you? I
you?
don't know. I give up. Just tell me.
Your beloved Dark Waters, because it's more recent.
Oh, baby.
And then, of course, what would a plane be if not a vessel to carry you across the skies so you could be trapped in your seat like a prisoner? Prisoners.
So when I'm in a plane and I'm watching a movie, I am hyper aware of the people around me looking at my screen. Are you that way?
Okay, so this is a good story. Little story time, okay? So as a kid, I used to they didn't have the screens on the planes, right? You had to take your own little
DVD player, portable
DVD player. You remember those where you had to charge them overnight, and it only lasted for like 4 hours, and you had to be very selective when you turned it on.
A movie and a half.
Yeah, you got about a movie and a half. I
remember watching The Incredibles a lot on a portable DVD player.
So,
including the special feature short Bounden.
This is how sophisticated your boy was. Okay, so I'm about 11 years old.
Yes,
right. Your boy's getting into Scorsese big time. Okay, so go to the local library. Shout out any local libraries. Local libraries, great. Support them. We love them. I got a copy of Raging Bull, and I'm watching.
You were like 11, and you watched Raging Bull.
Yeah, and so I had Raging Bull on this portable DVD player. But if you know, there's a lot of racy, some sexual stuff early in the film. It's a dark movie to watch. And so anytime there was anything like that, I had to close the thing. So I had to close the screen. Yeah. So and you get really you get tight. You just don't want to watch something.
That's why I watched The Kid Who Would Be King.
Yeah, exactly.
PG.
So I think that you are dead on. I think it's comfort movies that are absolute bangers that are going to, and you know how long your plane ride is, so you know exactly which one of those. When you see the lineup, you're like, okay, I know that movie's length.
Ocean's 11.
Ocean's 11, perfect. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, recently watched that on a plane.
I couldn't do Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. It's too violent at the end.
Who cares?
Feel insecure.
The violence is deserved. It's fine. It's okay.
But it's just weird. What if there was
most of that movie's vibes though throughout the whole thing?
What if there was a 6-year-old one row over?
Well, I did have a child next to me.
See, I couldn't watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood knowing that.
The child was taking a nap, so I was fine. I was good. I saw the mom was next to me. She's like, "Don't worry,
I can't.
He's going to take a nap.
I need
the whole
PG-13 or lower."
No, see, if I get verbal confirmation, I'll watch a R-rated movie. I don't care. I don't care about that. Action movies, I think it's different. I can watch an action movie. It's fine. They have all the John Wicks on planes. So anybody can watch John Wick on a
very
plane.
Odd.
Yeah, that's America for you. Violence, nobody gives a shit about. Sex,
I do remember watching
discourse.
Nymphomaniac Part 1 on a plane. That's not true, but
Antichrist.
Delta loves Lars von Trier.
I don't think Lynn would make it on a plane, sadly.
Any of them?
Do you think,
I would say no.
No. And then we're going to be doing PTA. There's no PTA on a plane.
No PTA on a plane?
I went to all of them. It was.
Oh, you're saying literally no.
There's literally none, but
there are PTA movies I would watch on a plane.
Yeah, Phantom Thread I'd watch on a plane. I'm not watching. I'm not watching.
Obviously, Boogie Nights I wouldn't watch on a plane.
Nope. You can watch There Will Be Blood on a plane.
You could watch There Will Be Blood on a plane. I think you could watch every.
You can't watch The Master. It's too much nudity.
True.
Same with Inherent Vice.
There is some particular moments that would be uncomfortable on a plane in Inherent Vice. That is true.
I think the safe ones are There Will Be Blood, Phantom Thread.
There Will Be Blood.
Yeah. Licorice Pizza.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. But do you have a go-to plane movie? Do you you one that you've watched a lot on a plane?
No, not really. I do. I remember watching that. You remember that movie Score, the documentary about film scores?
No.
Those are the kind of movies I like to watch on a plane.
Yeah,
it's a movie that I would. It would be my third choice at home, but it's good for a plane,
and it's free.
Exactly.
I also think like the idea of not paying for it, even though you're kind of paying for it, is because I'm paying for the ticket, but I'm not paying for the movie.
You're not paying on top of the ticket.
Exactly. So I'm thinking that's my chance to also do some catch up, right, from the year.
Right.
So like I remember seeing, what was that Mark Rylance movie where he played a golfer last year? You know what I'm talking about?
I reviewed that movie. What was it called?
What was it, like the Phantom of the Open, right?
Phantom of the Open. That's exactly right. Decent flick.
Decent little flick, just like a good Sunday.
That's a plane movie.
That's a plain movie, like the Kenneth Branagh movie that he did about Shakespeare, Bill Shakespeare, a couple years ago.
I forgot that movie existed.
Exactly, because it was on a plane. What was the one? There was another one where it was like, I think it was like,
you know what would be an interesting movie to watch on a plane?
What?
Plane.
Or Planes, the animated.
Well, the thing about Plane is it has all the ingredients of a plane movie, except you wouldn't want to watch a movie about
a plane going down.
Yeah, a plane going down on a plane.
I don't want to watch Air Force One on a plane. Let's just
watch United 93 on a plane.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, that's one I'm just gonna like not watch on a plane. Fucking madman. But yeah, no, Ocean's 11's definitely one. You know, it's ones they put up there, and I always think I'm not gonna watch. The selection of them are sort of weird for franchises. I think it's a good also time to like maybe watch some franchise films or just comfort movies. But they always have Lord of the Rings on there, and I never understand like, what are you like flying around the world? Who's going to want to watch just the first Lord of the Rings? Like it doesn't, you know, I don't know, because I want to watch that. I want to just watch them from the beginning. But anyway, let's plane movies. But we're not
anyway. This is our Morvern Callar episode. A movie that I would not watch on a plane.
I would not watch this on a plane. Though I do want to get into how you watch this movie here in a second. Because I think
it's a very important part of this experience.
I think he may sound like he's joking, folks, but we're not joking. I don't believe Jay is. Morvern Callar, Lynne Ramsay's second film, written and directed, starring Samantha Morton and Kathleen McDermott. And it is about after her beloved boyfriend's suicide, a morning supermarket worker and her best friend hit the road in Scotland, we find that grief is something that you can't run away from. Good Lord. Even the description.
It's a bummer description.
I was going to say, even the description's really sad. Jay, you hadn't seen this movie. I know that because we talked about that in the last episode.
Yeah.
This is a first time watch for you.
Hard movie to find.
Hard movie to find. Before I get your thoughts on the film and how it is as the sophomore feature in this series for Lynne Ramsay, I think we got to talk about how we watched this movie.
Yeah. Not on iTunes.
Not on iTunes.
Not rentable on Amazon.
Nope. How did you watch this movie, Jay?
It's my first experience with Freevee.
Explain to the listeners out there what Freevee is.
So Freevee is a service where it lives up to its name. It is free, and you can just watch what they have licensed on their service. However, there are ads.
Yes.
And most notably, they do not curate when their ads appear.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I will never forget the first advertisement I experienced in this film.
Okay.
Which is in the middle of a shot of a man who has committed suicide lying on the ground. And I was then treated to the face of Adam Devine telling Zac Efron how desperate he was to find a wedding date as an advertisement for the film Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates.
Wait, what? A movie that came out 5 years ago?
It is on the service Freevee.
Okay.
And therefore they would like to advertise it. And
so they think the Morvern
45 seconds of that film, I was then brought immediately back to the image of a man who has just committed suicide lying in a pool of blood.
Wait a minute. So they thought that the Morvern Callar watcher wanted to see that film?
Yes, I have a list of all the advertisements I saw while I watched the film.
I'm just going to let you go because I think this is fascinating.
Okay, so there was Mike and Dave Need Wedding Dates.
Mm-hmm. Did you really write all these down?
I did.
Seriously?
I wrote all of them down.
I'm so impressed with you. I was thinking about it, but I didn't go that far. But continue.
There is a spin-off show from the Amazon series The Boys.
Correct. It's like V Academy or something like that.
It's like The Boys Babies.
Yeah. Yes. Okay.
I got that one twice.
Me too. Yeah, I got that.
I got 3 advertisements for Beauty Rest mattresses.
Was that the one with the flower coming out? And
it was the one with the mattresses. I don't remember.
The one with the mattresses. Okay. Are you going to buy one?
I got it. You know what? They didn't convince me.
Maybe you should go watch the movie again and see the advertisement another does.
I was so resentful of these advertisements. I've been spoiled to a world free of
ads,
intrusive ads like these.
Did you go and investigate and see if Freevee does have a tier list where you don't have to do the ads, or is the whole gimmick you have to do the ads?
I did not, and I am not rushing to subscribe for Freevee Premium.
Okay.
Even if it does exist. I got a commercial for Fast X.
Have you seen
a bad film?
Oh, okay. Yeah, you have. That's right.
I got a commercial for Red Sparrow.
The Jennifer
Lawrence film.
Well, that one's kind of on point
which
because
is available on Freevee.
She is going to work with Lynne Ramsay, I believe.
That's exactly why it was there.
I think that you know what? They were just getting you ready. Movie's kind of dreadful, kind of gets you. That one's at least in the mood of what you're watching. Yeah.
I got a commercial for a sci-fi comedy series on Audible about scientists who are cats.
Yeah. I got
you see that one?
I got that one too. It's so stupid.
That was crazy.
Are you going to listen?
I already listened to all. I listened to all of it.
That's actually bonus content coming up next week on the show.
And then finally I got this one was honestly the weirdest of all. After getting the Fast X commercial, I got a Fast and Furious 9.
Wait, they went back?
They went backwards.
So
much like Jack in Lost, they had to go back.
Oh my God. All right. Okay. I don't even. Did you see, by the way, that they're going to do a Lost concert of all the music, I guess, in like Hawaii? Something like that?
A concert of all the music in Lost, a show that has 120 episodes.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, how long am I going to be there if I buy a ticket? I'm sure they repeat a lot of the themes. On
Interesting.
The
Is it going to be one of those live?
Yeah.
You watch along while they play the live music things?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So probably the pilot or something.
Where do you stand on that? Do you like those?
I've never been to one. I want to go.
I went to
fun.
You know what I did? I went to one a couple years ago for Raiders of the Lost Ark. And it was great. The intermission was right before he opens the or before he crawls down into the tomb, you know?
I would like to go to one for No Country for Old Men.
All right, smart ass.
Okay. It would be in a movie theater, and it would be projected normally because that film has no score.
Exactly. It does. Yeah. That's the joke. You didn't have to explain it.
I explained the joke. Morvern Callar is a film.
Mm-hmm. Oh, we're just going to jump into your thoughts. You didn't have any more.
Do you have anything else to say about Freevee?
I think it's bullshit that it partners
so
with
you
Amazon,
watched it on Freevee as well.
It's the only way you can watch it.
Yeah. Have you had prior experiences with Freevee?
No, this was my first two, and
voyage.
I mean, like, I've done adless things before, but there's other sites like, isn't like Tubi? Don't they do
Tubi,
this like
Roku
stuff like that? But a lot of them usually put their ads at the front, so you can like have the option of doing like 7 minutes worth of ads at the top, and then you just watch the movie, which I much prefer, especially for a fucking movie like this, which is like, you don't really want to break the mood of Morvern Callar.
And this is a film that relies on no interruptions.
Yeah, being in the presence of the mood. I would say that would be for all of Lynne Ramsay's movies.
I just think of watching Glengarry Glen Ross and Alec Baldwin comes on screen and he's like, coffee is for Fast and Furious X coming soon to a video on demand service near you.
Yeah, do the same thing though with A Few Good Men. Like, I want the truth, and the truth is Cialis.
Coming soon. Beauty Rest mattresses.
Oh my God. Anyway, yeah, it was not the best experience, but that doesn't mean that the film is bad. Doesn't mean it.
No. So
what do you think of Morvern Callar?
I think this film is quite good and profoundly disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
Of all the Lynne Ramsay films, this one shook me the most because of how nonchalant it is in its representation of disturbing things or presentation of disturbing things.
Okay.
Samantha Morton in this film, I think, really gives an incredible performance. It's really interesting how this builds on the ideas of Ratcatcher, which the ideas of Ratcatcher are all about suppressing your trauma, trying to pack away the worst experiences of your life. But it is much more empathetic when it is shown through the eyes of a child. In this film, you have this 20-something woman whose boyfriend has killed himself, and she just acts like it didn't happen and then exploits what he did in his life. But at the same time, disturbingly, at least I thought to myself, I totally understand why someone would operate this way in these circumstances. Which is this weird moment where you look in the mirror and say, oh, am I utterly disturbed as well? Which is what Lynne Ramsay is so good at doing and what makes this movie so powerful. But it really was, especially for the first 45 minutes or so, I almost couldn't handle it. I was so enveloped by this movie. And
in what
the actions
Jay?
of the characters were just, I couldn't even fathom it, but I could. And that's what made it so hard to watch. It's a really impressive achievement in emotional complexity. And when it is shown through the eyes of an adult rather than a child, it does up the level. It takes it from the more somber vibes of Ratcatcher and turns it into something a lot more sinister.
Yeah.
There is kind of this shadow of evil that lingers over this movie in a really effective way, and in a way that I think Lynne Ramsay fully intended. And you understand why this movie is so hard to watch, because I don't think Netflix is clamoring for the rights to Morvern Callar as something that they want to appeal, like get new consumers on board to their service. It's a really, really good movie.
Yeah.
And it is a classic example of one of those movies I'm not going to watch again for a long time.
Yeah, I really like this thing. It's just another tightly compacted ball of just putting you in the shoes of someone and making you feel the weight of their decisions. And I think it's a fascinating film, like you're saying, in comparison to Ratcatcher, a movie that really is about the weight of a child dealing with an accident or something, again, that they had no control over, but feeling an enormous weight of guilt and grief and it lingering with them. And this suicide of this person that Morvern, played by Samantha Morton, has from her boyfriend, it almost is, it takes her to a place where you're asking a fundamental question of, if you were in her situation, what would you do? How would you react? And she acts in a pretty extreme way. But then again, I think the movie also asks you, how could you not deal with it in an extreme way? Because your version of whatever this could be extreme to what I think, Jay, as opposed to the other way around, And the way in which she is telling her friend the truth throughout it, of that he's gone, he's dead, and all these her moments of dialogue that she is telling it, the world around her isn't paying attention to her. And also it being a female protagonist as well too, you add that weight to it as well. And how you're right, it is sinister, but it's in a way, but it's also it's the reading of that goodbye note on the computer, read me, I wrote this book, take the book, make a life. It's incredibly sad, but it's also like, you killed yourself and you gave me this, and then how the hell am I supposed to respond? How the hell am I supposed to live? And and it all feels like like there's an enormous icky is not the word, but there's this sense of a feeling that just something is all off, even in getting permission to do the actions of what she does to get to plagiarize and take the book.
Well, I don't think
stuff,
the
you know
intention
what I mean?
was for her to.
I don't think she feels guilty, but it's just like in that position, I would be like, well, I've got a dead body here and a note and a book and all this stuff, and I wouldn't know what to do in that moment. You know what I mean? And
But also, he didn't give her the book with the intention of her putting her name on it.
no. He was like, publish it, get some money for it. She does that herself.
Yeah.
Which almost kind of feels, I wouldn't say sinister. I mean, it kind of makes
Abhorrent.
sense. Yeah, it kind of makes sense.
I understand why
like,
she would
do
it. And there is this idea of.
But then it adds more and more pressure. You know, you've already chopped him up, right? You know what I mean?
What is his name?
Oh, God. I'm going to catch. Well, say
It's
it,
very
Jay.
important.
Say it.
James Gillespie.
James Gillespie. Yeah.
The main character from Ratcatcher.
Which then, I mean, I guess that means that these are,
Is it in the same universe?
Is it, or is it just, you know, is it the same?
I think it's just it's like Quentin Tarantino having the
King Schultz and
the Apple cigarettes or whatever.
Yeah. Or like how Schultz is the name that he uses on the bride's tomb when she's buried, but then that's also the same name as Christoph Waltz's character in Django. You know, it's little things. It's a directorial flourish. Maybe early on, maybe it's a connection. I don't know, because it is interesting.
There's certainly a connection, whether
sort
it's
of
literal
kind of
or
passing on that kind of emotional weight to someone like that is interesting, right? And how from a young age like that, it's we talked about the loss of innocence, but then to put that on their shoulders, they carry that, and then people that have traumatic things happen or are abused or whatnot, they pass it on a lot of the time. You know what I mean? And passing this on in a sort of wild way, like that would be such an interesting flourish. But then most of the movie then becomes a road trip film, Jay. You know, and sort of like the
certainly the second half with Lana, played by Kathleen McDermott, who I think is actually really good, and they have really good chemistry. And it's just these two people that it's kind of almost the opposite of Ratcatcher. These two people that really need each other, but then by the end they realize that they don't, you know, but they also have the freedom to move about
exactly because
as they want, especially when she
there's
a little money.
She gets the money, and that money opens up a door for them to have that vastness that doesn't feel same like when they're at home, and it almost feels like the world is their oyster. You can create with it what you want, and then I love that Lana by the end she's kind of realized it's like I don't want a new world. I don't need to change my identity. I don't need any all of that. I'm fine here. You can go off and do that and sort of float in space. Where I think Morvern's just sort of kind of goes by the end. I think it's a fascinating follow-up. It really is, because to keep in the tonal consistencies and very much still in the mindset, right, of after when you create your first film to sort of carry over a lot of those themes that you're talking about, Jay, into this movie. And stylishly speaking too, it pops in a different way. It's just as intimate though. But then when they go to Spain, the film picks up visually and resort, and it's a pretty confident second film. Even though I like Ratcatcher more,
I do too.
I still think that this is an interesting one to chew on as you're trying to, like you're saying, you're talking about like the moral consequences or how she's kind of running away from potentially maybe nothing. Like there's no cop or anybody or a threat or anything running after her. It's her own internal feelings that are the things that she's trying to, I think, kind of run from. At least that's what I felt, as what she's trying to. Let me go to Spain, or let me go do this, or let me, what she's trying to run away from, and I think also run away from the idea of losing someone that she truly loves, and wondering if at all what her role in that was too.
She definitely has a storm brewing inside of her, but the way that she confronts that storm is by running and indulging in the things that she has always indulged in. The scene where she just walks away while the dead body is still on the floor and goes and meets her friend to go clubbing, and she says, "Here, take this pill." She's like, "Okay, I'll take the pill and then I'll go to a party." It's like, what excuse me, what? Your boyfriend is dead on the floor. You didn't even move his body. You didn't call the police. You didn't do anything.
Yeah,
it's disturbing. I mean, it's
really,
also like, really disturbing.
But it's also a way too where you and I deal with grief and tragedy in different ways, right? And so
we do, but I would deal with a dead body on the floor.
No, I agree, but it's a wild way to just.
It is.
To just kind of like,
it makes
I'm gonna
sense
just leave
in the
it
world
here.
of the movie.
Yeah, like I'm just gonna leave this here.
I mean, that's the most important thing.
Yeah, it's like I'm gonna put this aside and I'll deal with this in a second. I gotta like, I need to almost. It's like her saying, I need a release and I need to take a breath, take a beat, and I'll be back. And yeah, it's like then she comes back and the body's still there, and how she disposes of it is
And that's one of those things where they don't directly show you what's going on. They just show you sort of the indirect, what do we call it? Distribution of fluids.
Yeah.
That have occurred.
Yeah. And her cleanup
via the process and the cleanup.
Yeah.
And one of the most unsettling parts of any time she is at home is that freaking blinking Christmas tree.
Yeah.
That is just always blinking.
Almost reminds you of the
hell would anyone ever have that?
Almost reminds you of like wasn't there like a sort of Christmas or like light or like lights in Ratcatcher also as well too, when they're like when the parents are dancing.
Yeah,
like
there
night.
is that. There is.
You know what I mean? So, but it's
where do you stand on when you? I hate colored lights.
Oh, okay.
I hate them. I'm
so
white
you're more
lights
like
through and through.
Just on a tree.
Yep. Anywhere.
You're talking outside, like you don't like them outside.
Mm-mm.
So you
white
don't like
lights.
red or green or anything. You're just like
none of that.
Straight
white lights, classy.
White lights. I don't know. I mean, it depends. I don't really think about it. I mean, our tree has the feature where you can go back and forth between white lights. I can change it, or you can blink it.
Bougie pants,
or, well, you know, they don't call me the executive editor for a reason. You got to have the fancy trees over here. Okay, I'll get you one. I'll get you a good deal. Fancy tree this year. Okay.
Did you get that from Warner Brothers?
No, I didn't get it from Warner Brothers.
Did you get it from Sony to promote The Whale starring Samantha Morton? Was that a Sony movie?
No, that was an A24 movie.
Oh, that's right. Did you get it from Sony for The Whale on behalf of A24?
It was a whale of a joke. Just kind of like go all the way around the 7 seas there. No, I just bought it. Like, I think it was at Target and I bought it.
Remember The Whale?
Yeah.
Samantha Morton's in that.
You know what was crazy? A little story about Samantha Morton real quick. Not about her. I have never met her, but I'm sure she's lovely. Is last year when I saw The Whale, I was at the Middleburg Film Festival.
Mm-hmm.
And about 5 hours before remember She Said?
I do.
Okay. And she's in She Said. She has, I think, a fantastic scene in She Said. I think she's incredible in that scene where it's just her and Zoe Kazan. And she's telling her story, and that's when she gives her She essentially like gives her the papers, and they can start writing their story, right? And I was like, man, that Samantha Morton, you are absolutely fantastic. What a absolutely great scene. And then flash 5 hours later, I'm watching The Whale, and she's got her one scene in The Whale. I'm going, good Lord, she's bad in this movie. And good Lord, this movie's bad. And so what I'm saying is she's got range, Jay. She's got excellent range. Moral of the story is. And she's actually
good stuff. She's been in some bad stuff.
She's really great in this, though. She's really great in this movie. Wouldn't you say?
She's fantastic in this film.
Yeah.
She plays one of the precogs in Minority Report.
Yes. Well, she plays the
main one.
The main one that's with Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
She was originally supposed to be the voice of the AI of Phone in Her, but Spike Jonze replaced her with Scarlett Johansson at the last second.
Gotta say, good call by Spike.
Well, we don't know what it would have sounded like. You don't know what it was.
All I know is that the end product was good.
Well, all the acting that Joaquin did, he did off of Samantha Morton's voice.
That's very interesting.
Yes, it wasn't the same. Like they did. Like Scarlett came in after.
Honestly,
so, interesting.
Lynne Ramsay did Samantha Morton dirty by then hiring Joaquin Phoenix. I think that means that she chose sides.
That's a little betrayal.
Lynne Ramsay betrayed Samantha Morton by hiring Joaquin Phoenix.
To answer your question, though, I do go more with the traditional lights, but ornaments I'll go with just about anything. Outside, outside, I really don't do lights. I do more like I'll do a couple of inflatables, or I'll do I like candy canes. Like, when you're walking up to the path, I got like little candy canes on both sides.
That's lovely.
Yeah, it's a good setup. I got a good setup.
It
blows my electric bill
movie, I did think like it would be awesome to have like a Morvern Callar inflatable for Christmas. That would be so sick.
I feel like the inflatable would be that real sinister smile after she makes the book deal, right before she has to go to the bathroom. Like that was the point that really sent the shivers down my spine of just like her understanding how she's.
I got the shivers down my spine a lot watching it. Did you find this movie profoundly disturbing? I found it.
Yeah, I found it being like the idea of like,
effectively difficult to watch.
I think about my mortality a lot. I think we all do. And I was just sitting there and being like, man, if I left like that and then my loved one was acting like this, I'd be terrified. I'd be mortified.
There is.
My body was found in here and I got chopped up, and then you took that money and you went to Spain. And then you went on like
you robbed me of my legacy. You robbed me of my money for my funeral.
Yeah, it's a movie of really taking someone's identity and yet not knowing what yours is.
Really
and
disregarding someone's identity.
Yeah.
The selfishness that she displays in this film, but at the same time, she has gone through something that is so devastating.
Yeah.
How would you act? You can't. There's no way to act rationally after something like that.
And we can sit here.
That's the complication.
And we can sit here and judge it, but we're not in those shoes. Because again, if we, like you're saying, Jay, if we did something irrational, it would be justified in probably our world through our perspective. If you knew us, or if it made sense, kind of like how it does for her. Like it weirdly makes sense for her to do this based off of the rules of the film and the tone and everything that is going with it. But I think what's interesting is all that. The road trip stuff. I want to ask you about the road trip stuff. and the trip to Spain, which takes up
Sure.
a good chunk of the film.
Yeah.
Is that still interesting enough? Because I think all the stuff on the peripherals of the film, like the first act, the second act, or first act, third act, pretty interesting stuff. The way this movie begins and the way this movie ends, I think is really interesting. But I'm curious about what you think about like that middle stuff, because that's really where we focus a lot here. And I don't know if it all works, or I know for a fact there are interesting things in it, like when Lana tells her about, like, essentially her and the boyfriend, they hooked up one night.
Yeah.
And Morvern's reaction is not of anger or frustrated or whatnot, because she has an even bigger secret to reveal, right? Which is that he's dead and I chopped him up, and when you stayed in that apartment, it was actually very cleaned because of me cleaning up the mess.
Yeah.
So I find like that, a scene like that, to be interesting, but like in them kind of figuring themselves out. But I don't know, like for the overall thread of this dread, I don't know if it all works.
I think it still has this cloud hanging over it, and there are these moments that stand out.
Is it all about the little moments?
It's the little moments for me. I mean, I think
okay.
my favorite shot in the movie is when she's on the balcony of their room at the resort, and you see this just sea of balconies of the other half of the resort behind her, and it's just this idea of everything just blurring together and just completely disconnecting from the various pieces of what's going on, and just hollowing everything out in a way to just disconnect from the reality of the situation that she's in. And I think about the moment, for instance, when it feels like it's completely out of the blue. The moment where they have the couple and they say, all right, we're going to put this thing up around you and you're going to trade bathing suits, basically just as an excuse to get the girl naked in front of everybody. And there's this thread of exploitation going on around her. And you see something like that and you're like, is she any worse than what is normal in this world that she is inhabiting,
in the environment that she's
that
around,
is where the complication comes from, because she's behaving at once like Buffalo Bill and also like this person who is going through unimaginable grief and sadness, and that sadness is only compounding as new discoveries come to light about her past experience. It turns out she can't even trust her best friend. There's another fantastic moment when they're in Spain where, again, Lynne Ramsay is exercising this idea of the blurred lines between violence and sex, and grief and sensuality. When she goes to this guy's room and he says, oh, my mom is dead. And then they start hooking up, because it is this similar experience,
almost like she's drawn, like when he admits that she's then drawn to that, the sort
exactly
of drawn to
it's that intensity.
The
it's that intensity of feeling that can only come from extreme lows or extreme highs that causes them to have this really, it's awkward, but it's also captivating the way that they sort of operate, where it's like no, yes, no, yes, and then it's this meeting of the minds of these people at these very interesting points in their lives, as Edward Norton in Fight Club would say.
Yes, and I think all that leads up to, like I was talking about, that the stuff at the end, because I think that, when she makes that book deal, which I think that scene is wild. It really shows that it's just like
She doesn't sell it very well.
She doesn't sell it very well, but they're so oblivious and they want this deal done. She also doesn't understand too that like she's just going to get £100,000 and that's it for this book that could be a bestseller.
Yeah, she didn't fight for any backing.
Didn't fight for no, she didn't.
That was tough. No
should have got in there and really helped her out on the deal.
Just give me 10%.
Yeah, just help her out. When she again does another line of admission where she's like, "I'm a supermarket worker," right? When they ask her what her next book's going to be, and they're like, "Supermarket worker, that's wonderful," right? And it's all superficial. Like the money is really the goal there. And then it's what that money can do. It's like get them again out of their situation, right?
And to those people, being a supermarket worker isn't even a real thing.
Yeah. And I just think of after everything that Morvern and Lana kind of go through, the last thing you would want to do is even probably remotely want to go back on a trip with this person after kind of what they've seen and ultimately, kind of have that the separation right from each other. But when Morvern's like, it's like, we can go anywhere, we can live anywhere. I've got this money now, and you don't have to worry about it. And she's like, I'm happy here. I'm happy and content here, and I'm not chasing happiness or chasing something that's going to finally bring her content the way Morvern needs, because she's not fit. She is then still running away from the grief, right? She's going through every stage of it, and at the end she's just finally just like, I can't face, she's not saying it out loud, but she's basically saying, I can't face the fact of my actions, and I got to just keep going. And I think that by the end she's like, I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to run away from it as fast as I can till the money burns out. And I think it's so fascinating because it's like, because if I stay here, I'm going to think about him. And I'm going to think about what happened, how I got here, that trip, everything. She
does not confront it for 1 second.
No, she doesn't. But we as the audience know that she's continuing
a hole.
Exactly. She's digging a hole that it will catch up to her eventually.
Her from the inside out.
Yes, it will catch up to her. It will. And that's what's so emotionally devastating about the final shots of the film. It's just like,
I love the last shot of this movie.
Yeah. Where it's
just like, she's trying to physically overwhelm herself.
Yeah.
Like just sensory overload.
Yeah.
So that she can literally make it impossible for her to think about anything else.
It is
powerful.
It's repression. It almost feels like she is trying so hard I think at the end to put the memories back far into the vault. And it's a really interesting little sinister mood piece here. You know what I mean?
It is a difficult film.
Yeah.
A very, very difficult film, and an effective film, and a well-made film. And I think about that final shot where she's in the club, and it has basically the same impact that the shot of James underwater in Ratcatcher has, where it is just this idea of, it doesn't have the same suicidal implications.
No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't try
Ratcatcher,
yeah.
But it does feel like just this intense sense of numbness.
Yeah.
And disassociation.
That's a good way of saying it. No.
That is so potent, and it really drives the entire film. But that is a wonderful little point that it ends on. It's a hard one, and this I really did find this to be one of the more emotionally distressing movies I've ever seen. I really believe that.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to put yourself in that state sometimes. I think there's inherent value in movies that make you feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Lynne Ramsay is really good at that. This is a very challenging film. someone can absolutely watch this movie and say that it is morally abhorrent, and I wouldn't completely discount that idea. But I
Well,
think sometimes it's important to confront those ideas.
yeah.
But the power of this film, I think, for me, lies in the fact that so much of her behavior is abhorrent, but the film communicates it in a wholly empathetic way.
Yeah, and I think that that's the magic trick
Mm-hmm.
of
And it's a really hard magic trip to pull
it's
off.
really hard, especially on your second film, and very confident in the way, because this is adapted from a novel,
Mm-hmm.
but from what I read, it veers heavily away from that adaptation, obviously, because like Ramsay wants to make it her,
Well, this is
her
such
own
a
thing.
quiet movie too.
Yeah.
It really leans into what film does that a novel can't.
Yes. And so, yeah, I mean, it everything you said is absolutely right, Jay. I just feel that, when you talk about tense thrillers or thrillers of centered around women with moral consequences, you can feel, I watched this movie at Telluride, and it was also at Toronto. It's coming out soon. It's from Kitty Green, who did the Assistant. Did you ever see The Assistant?
I did, yes.
Yeah,
Good movie.
good movie. Movie also too that puts you in a tense feeling and really, I wouldn't say it makes you as the audience very uncomfortable. They put you in
That one is
uncomfortable
not
position.
nearly as confrontational.
No. That
Morvern
is
Callar is.
no. But I watched her new film, the Royal Hotel,
Mm-hmm.
and as I was watching this, I was like, man, these two feel like cousins to one another. They feel of a kin of people that are surrounding themselves in their and consuming themselves in their moral decisions, and I find it really fascinating. I really do. I was just also really taken by Samantha Morton's performance, who is, it's again, she's it's not
Got a
showy.
unique look.
It's a unique look. It's very quiet. The dialogue punches like a knife in the chest. It's every word she says. It feels like it could be chaotic, but it's also kind of purposeful, and it's sad, and again, every time she tries to tell the truth, no one takes it seriously, and so then she's almost as if like she's acting out. She's trying so to just. It's almost like she's trying to reach out, but no one's there, so she has to it's the only one that she can really then reach out to at the end is herself, and then it all consumes inside of her, and it's such a great, interesting performance from her. And an actress really that was shining a lot in this era, and then since it's kind of mostly been character actor, like she said, she was in a couple of films last year, but someone that I when I see her on screen, because I know her, the first time I ever saw her was you're right, like a Minority Report, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Been like that, where
but she's unrecognizable in that movie.
No, she's unrecognizable in that movie, but she's also incredible in that movie.
Remember in this movie when she jumps over the corpse of her dead boyfriend while she's cooking a frozen pizza?
Yeah.
God.
I just think of the you mentioned the hotel stuff.
This movie messed me up.
I think of just like her sort of wildness in the.
She literally skips over him like she's playing hopscotch.
Yeah. It's almost, it's like it's not like she would do that even if it wasn't there. You know what I mean? In a way, it's crazy. It's a crazy movie. Do you have anything else you want to talk about it real quick? Any other highlights? Any other notes that you wrote down?
There are just these moments that are profoundly disturbing to me. I'm just looking at my notes here. I mean, oh, here we go again. And Mike and Dave need wedding dates, of course. We got to talk about it, but no, there are these buildups and then these releases, and some of them are micro releases, like jumping over the dead body, where it is her again disassociating from the reality of her situation in an effort to feel some sort of, it's almost like a childlike simple joy that she feels in that moment. Or there are these constant reminders of how she feels kind of tossed aside by society, and because of that she has to operate in a state of pure self-preservation.
Mm-hmm.
There's almost an animalistic quality to the way that she operates in this movie, and it is this objectivist perspective that Lynne Ramsay has pretty much over the course of her entire career, but I would say especially in this film, because it is in this very straightforward way to the audience a profoundly disturbing situation, but she deals with it in the same way that you would see in a nature documentary where it's all about survival.
Yeah.
And she is surviving in the environment that she is accustomed to in the most efficient way she can. And that necessity, because of the situation that she finds herself in socially, financially, is a harsh reality that is another angle that you have to confront, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, this is an extremely disturbing situation, but she works at a grocery store. She can't put her whole life on hold because of this. And the only way that she can take it on is by taking advantage of the opportunities that are now presented to her. And that's where that complication comes into play, where you're like, she's literally chopping her boyfriend into pieces, but I get it. It's horrific. It's really horrific.
It is, but like you're saying, it's she doesn't have time to really even think about it. She makes a decision. I mean, what is she going to do? What is she supposed to do?
Right.
Based off of her environment. And it almost feels like it's the most extreme choice to make, but also it's like, and also, how do you know how to do this?
She's basically operating like William H. Macy in Fargo.
Yeah, I mean,
basically what she's doing.
Like, you're
just
sitting,
better at it.
You know what? I mean, honestly, you're not wrong, because he's an idiot.
So there are ways, and she's not doing it well.
No,
I wouldn't say.
I wouldn't. No, I would not.
He's going to burn through that money so fast.
Well, yeah, because she's going to use, because based off of what we've seen,
money is her way of dealing with the situation.
Exactly, but when it runs dry, what's going to be left? Your emotions.
She's going to have to finally deal with it.
And the box is going to unravel. It's going to open back up again.
Yeah,
and yeah, it's going to be.
The money is just
it will ruin her.
Burns.
It will ruin
repression.
her. Yes, yeah. It's gonna. Yeah, and it's a short-term fix. It's not confronting your own grief, but also any problems that you have.
Yeah.
So
this movie messed me up.
This movie's good. It's a good little movie, right?
It's very good.
Yeah,
quite good.
Jay?
Yeah.
Before we get out of here, we're going to test your award season knowledge based on the film we just reviewed, Morvern Callar. And it's something we like to call It's an Honor to Get Nominated. Now, but I know this one's going to be really tough for you to figure out.
Mm-hmm.
What did Morvern Callar get nominated for at the Oscars?
So obviously this wasn't nominated for any Oscars. I have a proposal
Yes.
as an alternate way to do this
Oh.
segment
Oh, okay.
for this
week.
particular episode.
Yes.
Should we talk about the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards that it was nominated for?
It was not nominated for.
It was nominated for Best On-Screen Duo at the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards. Samantha Morton got slimed on stage. It was awesome. It was so funny.
Are you being for real?
Yeah, you didn't watch the 2002 Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards?
I don't believe for a minute that this was nominated for.
Morvern Callar was nominated for Best On-Screen Duo at the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards.
Did I miss that in the notes when I was doing this ahead of time?
I guess you did.
I'm looking it up right now.
Are you actually looking? Are you taking this even 1% seriously?
Oh my God. It was before it was green slime. It was more of a. Was it a magenta back then?
Dark red blood. Yeah, it's this movie was not nominated for any Oscars, and again, we're in the situation. Do you have the Oscar
I have
nominees for this year up?
Yeah.
I'm guessing I wouldn't really nominate this for anything.
This movie came out in 2002.
Came out in 2002, so yeah,
So
it would be the 03 Oscars.
The 03 Oscars. Yeah. So this would be a year we've talked about before. This is the Far From Heaven year, where, like, if you wanted to nominate Morton, Nicole Kidman for The Hours, Salma Hayek for Frida, Diane Lane for Unfaithful, Renee Zellweger, Chicago, and Julianne Moore for Far From Heaven.
All right, this movie's better than Gangs of New York.
Yeah, but then there's also a movie like Talk to Her is this year.
Yeah, there are
adaptation.
If you just
adaptation is this year too, Jay.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure. It's not in my top 5 of the year, but if I'm looking at
I get you.
What is nominated?
Would you put
Gangs of New York is maybe Martin Scorsese's worst movie?
No, it's not his worst, but of the modern era films, yeah, I agree.
Of him post Mean Streets.
Kundun exists.
I haven't seen Kundun, so I can't speak to that.
Great. But it's definitely like down there. Yeah.
I'm looking at 2002 here.
I'm not like the biggest After Hours fan, but I know I need.
You don't like After Hours? That's bad.
It's not that I don't like it. It's not my jam.
Swept Away came out in 2002.
Why are you looking at Swept Away?
I'm just looking at 2002 and it showed up. One of the worst movies ever made.
I thought it was your favorite movie.
Not quite.
Okay.
Oh, 25th Hour. God, it's a pretty good year too.
Perdition. I love Road to Perdition.
Punch Drunk Love, 25th Hour, Catch Me If You Can.
Spirited Away.
Hello.
But you're lower on Spirited Away than most.
No, I love Spirited Away.
I thought you were lower on that movie.
No, I love Spirited Away. That's my favorite.
Okay, good. Is that your favorite Miyazaki? Oh, that's what it is. It's it's the basic choice, but it's also kind of it's
boring.
It's one of the correct choices.
Yeah, Far From Heaven's great. Talk to Her is great.
Man,
Minority Report is quite good.
Catch Me If You Can.
Signs. Really like Signs.
Signs is good. Signs is really good. Is Signs his best? I think it is for me. For Shyamalan?
I think Sixth Sense still might be his best.
It's crazy how that movie still works even if you know the twist.
Yeah. No. My favorite is Unbreakable.
And Far From Heaven.
Unbreakable.
Is that year? We talked about that?
Yeah. A very, very, very good film.
A very good film.
I think my favorite film this year is probably 25th Hour.
Mine's Two Towers.
25th Hour and Two Towers.
Don't. We're not. No. I see what you're doing there. Cut your shit right now. Don't. But yeah, I love 25th Hour.
It's my favorite Spike.
Is that your favorite Spike?
It's one of my widest opinions.
That is the widest opinion. But it's also a really great movie. But It's not.
He's made a couple.
It's
He's made a
top
few
five.
masterpieces, but yeah, I mean,
Top
do
five.
the right thing is probably the right answer.
Mine's Malcolm X.
I mean, another banger. Those are kind of the three for me: Malcolm X, Do the Right Thing,
Yeah, I think
and
so.
25th Hour.
Mad respect for Bamboozled, though. Just one of the most. Have you ever been uncomfortable doing a review before in your life? When we did
that
one way
one.
back
That's
when in
like
the past?
watching Morvern. That's like Morvern Callar. That one makes my skin crawl as well in a very different way.
I love Talk to Me though. Pedro.
Talk to Her. Yeah.
Talk to Her. I mean, yeah. Talk to Me is a different movie.
That might be my favorite Pedro. No, it's not.
All About My Mother.
No.
Oh, which one? Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down?
No.
Oh. Woman on the Verge of a Nervous Breakdown?
Yes, that's my favorite.
Yeah. That's really good. Not The Skin I Live In?
Not even in my top tier. That's second, third tier.
But that's a fascinating movie, though.
It's a crazy movie.
It's a crazy movie. Somebody let him make that.
Yeah.
Even Pain and Glory is really good. You gonna watch that new Pedro short?
Yeah, I don't know how to watch it.
I think it's in theaters.
Well, I'm not going to go to a movie theater to watch it. I'll tell you that much.
You think you just wait for them to like send it to you at the end of the year?
Are they even going to do that? I don't know.
Yeah, they'll do it.
I'll watch it on Freevee.
I was really
watch it when it hits Freevee.
What commercials would go for what is that? A Strange Way of Life?
What would be on there?
Cialis? You think Cialis? I'm surprised you didn't get like a Cialis commercial. Those are like fucking everywhere. Burger King.
Oh, see, yeah. Whopper, double Whopper,
triple, double, single Whopper. I rule this day.
That would be good.
At BK.
I think I'm out on Freevee.
You think so? You're not going to buy stock after this?
I don't think so. No.
I will say this, though. Morvern Callar, I would love a Criterion release. I think that's what this deserves.
This does deserve
she should get a little
more than Freevee.
I think she should get a little box set. What do you think? Like a little 4-film box set? That would be pretty good. Her movies are small enough.
Well, it's there's nothing worse than buying a box set and then there's another movie that comes out after.
True.
I saw right now they're selling I think it's $105 or $110 for the first 2 films in the Spider-Verse series.
Now, why the fuck would you want to do that?
But then there's going to be another one.
You know what I loved? What was
just going to buy the next collector's set?
Remember when you bought? Was it you that I talked to that had the box set for Fast and Furious?
Fast and Furious,
where they had the slip for Fast 9.
When 8 comes out, you can put the disc in this sleeve.
Yeah,
truly a baller move.
But also, too, what are you going to do with the case for 8? And on the front of that, it also says Fast and Furious films 1 through 7. It doesn't say 1 through 8 on the front, does it?
I can't remember. I have it several.
It was an incredibly wild tactic. But then they made 2 more fucking movies, so it didn't. And if you want to put Hobbs and Shaw in there with it, then it was
truly hilarious when I opened it because I bought it a few years after it had actually come out. So I was expecting.
Was it the watch them all in anticipation?
I watched 7, and then there was another page left. So I was like, okay, time to watch 8. And I flipped it, and it was like, coming soon, Fast and Furious 8. You can put the disc in this slot.
And you're like, what the fuck? You know?
Yeah, do I have a mail-in claim that I can use, or what?
Yeah.
Have you ever had a disc that was
that
faulty that they did? Did you get a Citizen Kane?
I didn't.
The one where sent you a replacement disc.
I waited a long time to get that one to make sure that the because that was their first 4K, right? And they really
that was their first 4K. And
really kind
of I can't
screwed the
remember what was
pooch.
wrong with it, but they sent everybody who bought it a replacement disc.
There was like skipping or something.
You could claim a replacement. I did that for that film, and I did it for the Sam Peckinpah movie, Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia.
Man, that's a movie.
There's something wrong with that disc.
We got to talk about that movie one day because I know you love that movie.
Have you seen it?
No.
It is an all-time banger.
Plane movie?
Not a plane movie. You will get arrested.
Straw Dog's a plane movie?
That is a plane movie, yeah.
Okay.
If you're on Jeffrey Epstein's plane.
Anyway. Jay?
Yes, sir.
Tell everybody where they can find you and all your work on the internet.
Not on Jeffrey Epstein's plane. No. Not on his flight logs. You can find me on Letterboxd. Just search J Ledbetter. You can find me on Twitter at Mr. J Ledbetter. And you can find me regretting so many things I say on this podcast.
Yeah, all the time.
At a local library near you.
Support your local libraries.
Yeah.
Brought them up multiple times. So you would put Sam Morton in your lineup? Would you put her in your lineup for this?
I gotta go back and look at that list again. 2002.
Yeah.
Best actress.
Kidman, Hayek, Lane.
Yeah, Julianne Moore.
Probably kick Diane Lane out. Just really, Morton's really
I will
good.
tentatively say put her in.
Okay. That's all I needed to know. It's a part of the game. It's part of the show. People want to know.
Yeah, we did kind of skip that part to talk about.
Yeah, you did. Yeah, about
stuff.
Your ridiculous joke. Well, would you put Lynne in there for director?
No.
There's other movies.
Yeah.
So
I'd put Haynes in there though.
Yeah, I think we've mentioned that before.
Mm-hmm.
That's an abysmal lineup outside of Almodovar. Because like Rob Marshall's just doing Fosse and Scorsese's lesser.
Well, The Winner. There's nothing wrong with The Winner though.
I'm not going there. You've said you have mentioned 9/11, Epstein, and Polanski. You're done tonight. You're done.
I didn't mention anything.
Yeah, you did.
I did not say the word Polanski. You're putting words in my mouth.
You said The Winner. Who won the category, Jay, for best director? 2000.
I'm gonna let the listeners
just go and Google it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is kind of crazy that Almodovar got nominated for Talk to Her.
Yeah, and then he won screenplay. And you know who gave him the screenplay prize?
Polanski.
No. See, you couldn't have just been sincere.
I don't know the answer.
Penelope Cruz and Antonio Banderas gave him the award.
Oh.
Yeah, it's one of those like great times that the Oscars manipulated that.
Had Almodovar had they made up at that point?
Yeah.
And Banderas and Almodovar?
He was so excited. But it's go online. It's one of those great. They yell out Pedro, and they're both like dancing.
It's like Samuel L. and Spike.
Yeah, it's very much like that. Sometimes the Oscars they manipulate it, and it doesn't work out. But then sometimes it does, and it's great, and they're great moments. They're great moments. So, I'm gonna move on before you say whatever joke you were about.
Like
to
when
say.
they did.
You were gonna say it. I know you were gonna say it.
No, what was the? No, I was just thinking of when Soderbergh did actor last.
What are you talking about?
When he decided to do actor after picture.
Oh, you're talking about with the Bozeman and the Anthony Hopkins.
Yeah, they were trying to set up something special there, and it ended up
blowing up in their face,
being one of the worst things that's ever happened.
Well, what was great? What was great about that? It was completely forgotten about the next year after Best Actor winner went up and slapped Chris Rock in the face. So it all evens out.
The Oscars are on fire in fuego.
Good for Brendan Fraser to not like. The one thing you can say about Brendan Fraser's win, it was just normal. Nobody got harmed walking up to the stage. Bad win, but that's beside the point. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, Ryan McQuade 77. You find all my work here at AwardsWatch.com. If you like podcasts, you should go ahead and listen to the main show that we do. And we record it every Sunday, but we release it every Monday. And while you're at it, if you love this show and you love the main show, 5 stars, right, Jay? 5 stars on
5
Spotify.
stars, please. We love those.
On iTunes as well. We'd love to read those. And we'd love for you to just give us feedback, but nice feedback, 5-star feedback. You can put something you disagree about with us in that feedback, but still give us the 5 stars.
5-star disagreement.
5-star disagreement. We love those. Website, newsletter. Go ahead.
Yeah. It's a good newsletter.
It's a good newsletter. Eric puts it together. Go sign up for it. AwardsWatch.com. Next week, we're going to talk about Kevin, because we need to talk about Kevin.
Hollywood Lynne
is the film we're talking about next week. I think you can catch it on actual Amazon Prime. You don't have to do Freevee, right? Is that how you did it?
That is how I did it.
Okay. So if you want to catch up, stay with us, and watch alongside us, Amazon Prime, that's the place to go. Otherwise, you can just rent it or go to your local library, like we've been mentioning on this episode. But thank you all so much for listening. We'll see you all next time.